Bonjour! Today I'm inviting you to step into the story of Camellas Lloret, a guest house tucked in the heart of a medieval village in the southwest of France. Behind these old stone walls, Cathy and Jean-Marie are the guardians of a place where time slows down and where every detail was carefully chosen. It's a home that welcomes you like an old friend, and I cannot wait to share its beauty with you.
Hi Audrey, welcome to Camellas Lloret. Come in. I'm Cathy. I live here with Jean-Marie, my partner. We moved here in June 2020. I'm French-American. I grew up on the East Coast, New York, Connecticut, what we call the tri-state area. And I moved to Paris when I was 20. Jean-Marie is French from Paris, and we lived in Paris for many years. And we moved to London to stay there a year and stayed 5, and then we moved here. We have 5 guest rooms, and it can sleep up to 14 guests. We also have 3 private rooms for ourselves. My daughter doesn't live here, but she keeps a big mess here. We have a small room that I use for yoga, and a big master bedroom, and an office that's not used for guests, and a living room that's not used for guests. We have this living room for guests. So this is the entrance to the house, Camellas Lloret, that overlooks the garden that I'll be showing you a bit later in the tour. The name Camellas Lloret was actually composed and kind of created by the previous owners. And it comes from the idea that whoever lived here was probably had the initials CL as it's engraved in the stone. This is the original stone from the house. And it's also the metalwork above the doorway there is also CL. So the previous owners thought, 1789, let's look up some names to see who the previous owners who the original owners, could have been. And they didn't come up with any accurate information, so they made it up. They looked in a dictionary of lost names and came up with Camellas, which was a common name in this area, as well as Lloret. So the house is named Camellas Lloret. Who knows, maybe it's true. So this is the entrance that leads up to the first floor. These homes are built, there are a lot of wells underneath these homes. And for some strange reason that we don't really understand, we've had a lot of experts come. Water does, it gets damp. But it's not a humidity that you feel, it's a humidity that you can see in the walls. So these walls, to actually give them space to breathe, are in chaux, which is a chalk, and we mix them with dark pigments. They're black pigments, just to get the consistency and the color that we like. We actually redo them quite often. This was chosen by the previous owners, but we really like it, so we're keeping it up. The floor is in concrete. The stones are hand-placed to create the diamond pattern that you see there, very much like the one in the entrance there. And it's beautiful, but it's quite a bit of work. So we'll go upstairs. These staircases I found there are quite common in this area. These dark wood staircases with wooden steps and tomette. I will take you into the living room, which is all our guests are welcome to use while they stay at Camellas Lloret. A lot of the things in this room we already had in our apartment in London, like this Eames chair and this stained glass lamp that was made by a friend in Paris, this crocheted dress that's made that I bought in Merida when I was in Mexico. This couch, I can tell you, is quite comfortable. Everyone really enjoys it. It's made by a brand from Toulouse called Bed and Philosophy. We lived in Paris for a long time. We had this historical map of Paris, and that's where it's landed. I work in the music business, so there are a few artifacts that have to do with music, and there are CDs and vinyl, and everyone's welcome to put on whatever they'd like. And this I got in London. I love Basquiat, and I would love to own a Basquiat original, but I don't. But this I found, and it's about time, and it's called Now's the Time. And I found that in London, and there's something about time that I'm really passionate about and is mysterious for me. So I'm glad to have that. From here you can go out onto the terrace on the first floor. Which overlooks the garden. Guests can enjoy this area to have a drink in the evening. Sometimes we serve breakfast up here, and it's just a very cozy, quiet area. There's a very small street right outside of here, but it's so small that only very experienced drivers would give it a go. These canisses, we call them in French, they actually are good for blocking out light, but also making a bit more private, and they're totally natural, so if they get broken by the wind, there's quite a bit of wind in this area, we can replace them quite easily, and they're 100% natural. I will take you now downstairs to see where we serve breakfast in the morning, depending on the weather. Follow me. So when it's nice out, weather permitting, we serve breakfast outside on this table, and everyone seems to get along, but if they'd like to be just alone, we can serve breakfast upstairs or in the garden room. If the weather is not so great, we serve breakfast inside. So this is the dining room. From time to time we have table d'hôte, so we would make dinner here. The previous owners actually had these cupboards built by a local carpenter, and I think they probably did it because they found these fabulous glass doors. And they're painted in a color that I find really lovely. It's called Dead Salmon by Farrow & Ball. Inside is a darker color. This is where our breakfast cutlery is. We have these pretty little mugs that we use. In the morning, we serve a breakfast that's composed of a fruit salad, which I cut up every morning, and it's actually kind of like my meditation, and I really enjoy it. We add fresh basil and mint from the garden. We also run to the bakery every morning and serve fresh bread and croissants and butter, jam, local cheese from the area, coffee, tea, of course, hot chocolate, whatever they'd like, and freshly squeezed orange juice when it's the season, and if not, we work with a local apple juice producer and serve apple juice. I feel very privileged in this house. I feel privileged to be here if we don't have guests, and I also feel very privileged to meet the best people. We have the best guests, very interesting, from all walks of life, many different nationalities, and I feel blessed, actually. I think that what a lot of our guests really love about the house is that we've kept a lot of the original features, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's a big lesson to learn how to live in imperfection, because nothing is ever perfect. I'll show you room 1. Follow me. So room 1 overlooks our little street, Rue de Lange. It's a very quiet street. It's very peaceful. It's the most hotel-like, I would say, because it has an ensuite shower. The other rooms all have baths. These doors as well, which I really love. It's a clever idea if you're into brocanting and you find some beautiful doors that you love and you don't know what to do with them. They can work really nicely as doors for another space. And that's what these are. I think also what makes this house very special is it has a lot of what we call parquet moulure cheminée in French, which is more something that you would see in Paris in a Haussmann style building. But in this house, there are a lot of features like that. So this fireplace is marble that is from this area. It's beautiful pink marble. The armchair came with the house. So let me take you to room 2, which is a totally different feel. This room is very peaceful, velvet curtains. The window overlooks a small alleyway that's not very interesting, but it keeps the room quite cool and quite private and quite cozy. This linen is from Bed and Philosophy that we, like the couch, and we work with that brand quite a lot. These are just 2 little tables that I picked up at a brocante. There's a feature here, which is old books, and these doors, the glass was replaced with chicken wire. Another clever way of using old features in a house. And a friend of mine who is named Terry Lamar, a friend of ours, he actually made that little sketch for us after he stayed in this room. Let me take you to the ensuite bathroom. So here, like I said, the only room that only has a shower is room 1. All the other rooms have bathtubs. The curtain was, I think it was probably made by September, the previous owner. It's very pretty, so I kept it. I love it. In all of our bathrooms, we use Aesop products that we started working with. I was hoping to find a French brand, and if there's a French brand out there that's interested in working with us. But once you get used to Aesop, it's very hard to replace it. So I still haven't found that French brand, but yeah, it'd be nice to have something local as well. Access room 4, you go through the living room and there's a secret door. this room overlooks the garden. It can accommodate a family of 3. This is very much a day bed that we turn into an evening bed. It's comfortable, but it's more for a child than anything else. Again, the marble fireplaces that are featured in all the rooms in this part of the house. These nudes I found during COVID. I was shopping online from a brocante in London, where I was living before I moved here. And these are originals from a studio in Paris. So they went from France to England and back to France. And I think they're quite happy here. So the bathroom also overlooks the garden and can be heaven. We also play a lot of music, so the music can flow in through this window that can be open during the summer when it's warm. And this is a cast iron clawfoot tub. This was here when we moved in. Beautiful marble sink, and again, a lot of 70s features. We'll go upstairs to room 3. These walls, I have a project to have them painted by an artist who stayed here, who lives in Australia. And so they're a bit damaged right now, but I'm waiting for him to come. Hopefully he will make it this year. In French terms, we'd be on the 2nd floor. In American terms, we'd be on the 3rd floor, I guess. That door goes to our private area where we have 3 rooms for ourselves. And this is room 3. So room 3 is also one of our rooms that can accommodate 3 guests. This room overlooks the garden and the terrace. So we're above the terrace here. And this tree here is Arbre de Juda flower tree, which is absolutely beautiful in March, April, I would say. The fireplace is another tent of marble from this area. On it, we've just put some vintage books and vintage jugs. These are what we call in French globes de mariée, and they were originally created for the bride. They're quite beautiful and used for different things now. So as I showed you previously, this is our outdoor dining area where we serve breakfast or a drink when the guests arrive of local wine, tea in the afternoon. And again, the canis are featured as shade over this area, which makes it quite nice for lunch. And we can actually bring those down even more to create more shade. So here you have the pool. We actually made this, had it made, and it was quite an adventure, quite a challenge as you see, we're in the small streets of the village, so to build a pool in a courtyard with limited access was quite challenging. And actually, we were refused by a few pool companies that came in and walked out. So we finally found a company that would make it for us. There were a lot of compromises. It's not exactly where we wanted. It's not exactly the size we wanted. It's not exactly the interior that we wanted. But now that it's here, we love it, and we feel that it's a great feature in our garden and for our guests. The pool is a dark liner. I wanted it to be stone, but that wasn't possible in order to get the guarantee. So we chose a dark liner, which was also in line with what the Bâtiments de France wanted. They wanted the pool not to show too much from the sky. So we chose a dark liner. It has a marble effect, and it creates a nice tint of the water we find. Come into the garden room, which is one of my favorite rooms in the house. It's funny because I find that some of my favorite rooms in the house are the smallest, and I don't know why, because I've always dreamed of having a lot of space, but it is what it is. So these windows are original features. The glass is quite thin, so we have to often replace the panes. The way they did panes was, I guess, for financial reasons. I don't know why, but sometimes there were 2 pieces of glass, so these weren't replaced yet. So they're on hinges up on top, and we can open them with just a little stick like that. We can make it longer if we wanted to open them more. So it's just a really nice feature. It's guests like to have breakfast in this room. These chairs I've had since 1993, I think, and the beautiful Dame Jeanne. Some are dirty, but stained with wine. When I'm here, I work from home, and I'm very mobile. Like, depending on how I feel, sometimes I come in here and have a coffee and just sit and look outside. But sometimes I bring my computer in and work, and I do that in a lot of different rooms in the house. I kind of follow the light, or run away from it, depending on how strong it is. But I go up onto the terrace and I use this room. So it's very, I feel living here gives me a lot of advantages to really enjoy every corner of the house. So we have this lovely stone fountain and a mirror in front of it. And it's actually a nice place to do pictures, because you can have the mirror and you can see the nature behind you, the bed and the lovely hortensia. So let me take you into room 5, which is like a mini apartment and has its own personal access. Guests are welcome to go through the main entrance where I welcomed you, but they can also use this. We give them a key, and it's quite private. Downstairs, we have a dining area. This was originally probably a workshop, probably even a garage before that. So here we have a dining table. We have a small kitchenette with a small fridge, a sink, some hot plates, and an oven. And here we have all the cutlery and things that you need to cook if you wish. So again, the walls here are all painted in chaux, just the natural powder mixed with water. No pigments were added. We kept the pieces of brick in their original. We didn't paint those, just as a decorative effect. Okay, so here on this wall you have some beautiful, rather old herbiers. So pressed flowers. I really love anything that's botanical, and I find it quite inspiring. We're upstairs in the small apartment. Here you have the living room overlooking the garden. So we're a bit higher than the terrace. In here we've kept it quite simple with 2 day beds that can transform into beds to sleep 4 comfortably in this room. One of the first things that we did in the house was redo the roof of this part of the house, of this apartment. It was quite challenging to get the workers to respect the original features that we really wanted to keep. That was a big discussion, but it's still there and we're quite happy about it. And here again, we've painted all the walls with chaux. They're quite uneven and they have to be cleaned regularly, but that's okay. That's a choice. Something we're willing to live with. Let me take you into the bedroom part. Just quite open. Here again, you have a small window overlooking the garden. And it's a triplex, so we're going to go upstairs for the top floor, which is the bathroom. This is a very small window, but with the best view of the Pyrenees. We're surrounded by the Pyrenees and the Montagnes Noires, the Black Mountains. This bathtub found itself on the top floor of this house, which is quite amazing, and it's a beautiful clawfoot tub. And then let me show you this sink, which I love. I wish I could find more of them. Maybe we'll have to make them. So this sink works like this. There's no drain there, but you turn on the water, and then to empty it, you just tip it. Isn't that great? So one of the things that I love to do before the guests leave is have them sign our guest book. And I don't usually read anything that they write until the end of the season, and I find it really heartwarming to remember who they were and think about memories that we may have shared together. And I take a photo of them on this street leaving, just walking away most of the time. And so yeah, I'll take your photo when you leave. What does this house represent? It represents a big change in my life because I've always been a city person, and moving to the country and living in such a big house as well. I've never lived in such a big house that I own. Being a city person, you tend to live in apartments or smaller homes. So it represents a real turning point, I would say, in my life, to more in touch with nature, more appreciative of nature than ever before. One of the things that we love to do is recommend things to do in the area to our guests, and that usually happens around the breakfast table or in the evening over a glass of local wine. And Jean-Marie he loves maps, and he started drawing these maps that he would make for each guest based on what they wanted to do or their interest. And it was just this pencil drawing. I met Colleen from Flowers and Pencils on Instagram. We worked on a logo together, and one thing led to another, and I told her about this map. And so we actually made this little pocket-sized brochure with a few recommendations, and it unfolds, and inside is our map of suggestions of things to do in the area. Wherever you go, give to it a little bit, and you can take something away that is endearing for life, and it can seem like home.
I would like to thank Kathy and Jean-Marie from the bottom of my heart for their warm welcome and for opening their home to my channel. I hope you enjoyed the tour of this incredible home. Please leave a comment if you did, and do tell me what room you would dream of staying in. À bientôt!